fine. Breathe.
I can't find this.
What? Can't find what?
His account that I set him up as, and now all of a sudden it's not popping up.
136.
Yeah, but like it's not. I'm not even seeing that in the DMs, and it's aggravating me
I see it
immensely.
I'm telling you, it's 136.
All right, well, I almost just updated 135 on accident. Ugh, so aggravated.
All right, so this is getting pulled up.
See, it says we're live, but I can't view it on YouTube. Oh, I'm just so. I feel like Andy Bernard when he when he interviews for the regional position, for the regional manager position when Michael leaves, and then when D'Angelo dies, and well, he doesn't die, and then Gabe gives Andy a bunch of crap, and he's asking him all these like weird questions about how many windows are in New York, and then how far away is the sun, and Andy answers.
Yeah.
And Andy goes in his car after, and he's like, "I wish that had gone better. I wanted that to go better." That's me about last night in every aspect, and now I'm just still frustrated.
All right, so make sure this link works. I tweeted it out. All right. Hey guys, what's going on? We're just waiting for a few more people, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Up, wow, you got me really tucked up in that corner, eh?
Well, do you know what? It's surprisingly small. I don't know why it's so small. I think it's ever since you got the webcam, it's been small now. So I'm going to have to learn how to make you bigger.
Good luck. Been trying for years.
Of course, we're talking about the window up there. All right, we're going to go to live chat here. See, like I know there's people in here and it still shows like a 0 as the people watching, which is frustrating. It's not updating.
We're trash.
All right, let me.
What's up, Santa?
What's going on?
Yikes.
All right, we're giving a few more minutes, guys, and then we will go ahead and get this live stream started. Oh, wow. 9 people just updated. So we'll go ahead and start then. We'll keep this shorter than normal just because we know it's NFL Sunday and it's very important part of the NFL season wildcard weekend. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it, TJ. I'll go ahead and get started since I've been doing a little bit more research as of right now. For Cleveland, we got news that Kevin Love is out with a quote unquote illness, or I think it was an illness, or it was rest. It was rest. That's what it was. Yeah. Quote unquote rest. That's what it was. He is out for Cleveland. We know he's having a lot of trouble with upper management right now. So I think he might be out for the short term. Might be talking about trade options. But as far as Cleveland goes, I ran the report for them. And it goes like all over the place, really. And there's really not that much of a sample size. So unfortunately, I can't really paint an ideal picture for Cleveland. But what I will say is people like Garland popped. He gets 33 minutes and 4.6. I think he becomes intriguing. Darius Garland. Another person who we were ranting about before the stream that we really don't want to start but seems to be a decent play is John Henson. John Henson at 22 minutes. He's a good fantasy point per minute player just in general. He always has been. And I think now without Kevin Love, I think he becomes an intriguing option as well. Kevin Porter, 40 428 minutes, also a decent play. And Tristan Thompson's always kind of up in the air. We never know what his production really does. But without Kevin Love actually on the court, his usage doesn't get impacted whatsoever. So Tristan Thompson could definitely end up being a trap play for me. Colin Sexton, another decent play, but not as good as somebody like Garland. They play the same amount of minutes, and I think Sexton's actually a lower fantasy point per minute player. So it's kind of hard to decipher this team. We don't really know who's going to do what. I think if I'm looking at cash plays for this, I'm going to take minutes. I'm going to take minutes because the production should be there, and I'm always going to be a person that looks at minutes. And I think Garland, just in general, is going to get the biggest boost here. TJ, what do you have to say about Cleveland and how they look?
Yeah, they're a mess and they're a terrible team. That's all I have. No. So yeah, when I was computing values, I ran my court IQ with just Nance and Kevin Love out. I actually left Jordan Clarkson on, even though he's no longer on the team, just to give me a bigger sample size. I know he's a guard, so it might take away from Garland or Sexton or Porter or what have you. But that's just what I chose to do when I was running numbers. And Garland computed as the best value for me, followed by Porter and then Sexton. As you touched on, Tristan Thompson doesn't really get too much of a bump. I think his fantasy point per minute actually goes down a little bit with Love off the court. So he's not someone that's intriguing. And he's also on the injury report right now as questionable with an illness. So if he sits, I mean, I think that makes John Henson a lock. But like you said, John Henson's looking to get 22 minutes now because Nance is out as the backup center. I don't want to have to take him, but he is 3,400. I think I'd rather go Alonzo McKinney over Henson right now because it looks like McKinney's projected at 25 minutes. If he can get 22 minutes, I think he should be able to hit value at 3K. He's decently rated out on our sheet, but he's only a 0.62 fantasy point per minute, so he's not very intriguing. If I can find value elsewhere, I will try to. But yeah, Love is obviously out because back-to-back, so he's going to be sitting all back-to-backs going forward. I think they announced that a little bit ago. So you're going to have to get value somewhere. So I think Sexton and Garland, Porter are all decent options. And I think Garland is probably my favorite pick. It's either Garland or Sexton.
Yeah, and this should be a competitive game against Minnesota. But if I'm being asked if I'm going to stack this team, because I already know that you guys already have that question, absolutely not. I'm not going to stack the Cleveland. I might take a couple players from this team if I'm looking for fillers and I'm looking for value and I need it. But these guys are in a low-paced game. There's not too many options that really stand out here. So I'm more intrigued in this Miami team that might be potentially without Jimmy Butler tonight if he is indeed out. They have a higher over-under, and I've already calculated a bunch of people for them, and it's going to be a lot more intriguing for these guys. But I think you're going to end up chasing these high over-under games like Phoenix has a couple good plays on there. I calculated values for those. But TJ, let me just go ahead and step back and kind of ask, what kind of direction are you going to go tonight? Maybe a couple players you're looking towards.
Yeah. Well, the news just came out about Jimmy Butler, so obviously, if he sits, that's big. I actually had him in the cash lineup that I made earlier, so that kind of stinks if he sits. But if he does sit, that opens up a ton of value in Miami. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But right now, I am looking at this Memphis-Phoenix game. In the builds that I made earlier after I did my values, I actually had 5 guys, 4 of them being from Phoenix. I really like DeAndre Ayton tonight at 6'9". I think he's really undervalued, especially going up against Memphis. I also like Aaron Baines. They're starting Ayton and Baines, which they did last game, and I forget if they did it 2 games ago or not, but I kind of like having both of them on the floor at the same time because that's 2 monsters that can spread the floor. Like Baines can hit threes, Baines can go down low. So it's a really interesting lineup that they're rolling out. I actually think that this Phoenix Suns team is really good. They have a really good starting 5: Rubio, Booker, Oubre, Baines, Ayton. Like that's a good starting 5. At 14 and 21, it doesn't show obviously because Ayton just got back, but I like them to make a little bit of a run here. But yeah, like I said, I really like Ayton. I really like Baines tonight. Booker at 8-2, I think is a really viable play. CJ McCollum just got ruled out, so that's.
Oh wow, you got that alert before me. Great. So we have some work to do here.
Yeah, so that probably makes Dame really, really, really intriguing at 8-8.
even Whiteside that might end up being
Yeah,
appealing here.
yeah, maybe Whiteside. I'd be interested to see if what happens with Simons now, if Simons starts in place of McCollum. I don't know if he would, but that might make him a really good play at 3,500.
Yes.
Yeah, back to Phoenix real quick. I
Yep.
really like Baines. I really like Ayton. I really like Booker, and I also really like Ricky Rubio. So they have the highest over/under at 120. So I'm targeting a lot of these guys. But now, obviously, with this CJ McCollum news, that might shake things up a little bit. But I definitely want some exposure to that game. And on the other side of the ball, I really like John Morant at 6,200 tonight. Averages 1.14 fantasy points per minute in a high-paced game. This is 236. They could score, 240, 250 total. So I really like targeting this game.
For everybody that is new to this stream, welcome. What we do is we go over the slate and its entirety all the way up through lock. We're going to get off just a little bit earlier today just because it's the NFL playoffs, and we know that not everybody's going to stay through all the way to the end. Yep.
Sorry.
So thank you for your support. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We want to make sure you guys get the updates. I know a couple of you already do that and are ready for the stream every single time, so we are there and we can help you out. So thank you for joining the stream. And we are going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead, TJ, and start looking at the numbers for McCollum. Actually, I'm going to wait till the minutes update because that's always a thing.
I'm running it right now just to see what it looks like for usage bumps. I expect a big bump for Dame. Dame gets a 6.5 usage bump. So
oh wow, okay.
Averages 1.28 per minute. It's a 93-minute sample size, so not great, but good enough.
It's a high-paced game for them.
Yeah, so
it's not. Never mind, I lied.
I'm going to assume Dame still sees his 37 to 38 minutes. I don't think his numbers will fluctuate at all. Yeah, so Dame is a 5.9 on our sheet now, so Dame will definitely find his way into the cash build tonight.
So on my screen now, guys, I have what before looked like without the McCollum news. We already talked about Garland. I like Baines. I like Ayton. And then I love Jimmy. We haven't touched base on them, but if he does not play, then we love that entire Miami roster. We'll have to recalculate everything. What do you think about the Lakers tonight, TJ? Do you like LeBron as a pay-up option?
Yes and no. The build that I had this morning, I didn't have him in there. I mean, they should absolutely truck stick this Detroit team tonight. So... Yeah. I mean, I know every single time we talk about it, it doesn't happen, and it's a competitive game. But if I am gonna spend up on somebody tonight, it's probably gonna be LeBron. But I do like the mid-tier options more now. Dame in play, so I think I'd rather go Dame, Booker, and Butler if I can, opposed to paying up for LeBron, AD.
Yeah. I think I can agree with that, especially with the over-under. It looks like it's a 15-point spread right now. So that's, yeah. I mean, that's just outside of the range that I usually like taking from those types of games.
And if it stays competitive and close and LeBron gets his 35 minutes, then, he'll dominate. But
right.
Detroit, back-to-back, played last night. Just not, I mean, if I am going to pay it for somebody, it would be, I think I'd rather go LeBron over AD tonight, but I'm going to try to avoid it. But if Butler's out and it opens up more value for Miami, then I could definitely see myself paying up and getting LeBron.
Yeah, and it's also showing him as the third highest percentage ownership. I think that's just that's also before the news broke too with Portland. So we'll see how that shakes things up. Again, I'm waiting for the minutes to update here. It also looks like the line is moving upward, which is weird for Portland. So they just moved to 107.
Their over-under jumped to 107?
Yeah, it really did. Like, I just updated everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'm seeing LeBron third highest tonight too. So I mean, if I got to eat the chalk and get LeBron, then I'm obviously not upset about that. So I think the Butler news will I think the Jimmy Butler news is big, and I think once we know that, that'll definitely give me a better sense as to what direction I'll be going.
Now, luckily, it is the first game to play, so I will stay on stream. I'll wait for that news for you guys, just to make sure we know the general direction that we're going. I just saw another bump and people joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell, and you guys are the first to get notifications from us when we go live for our streams. Thank you for the support, guys, as always. And again, we're waiting on these minutes to update. As soon as we get these minutes, we'll give you a better direction of the slate. It's a Jimmy Butler news and the CJ McCollum news that have us wondering what we're going to do.
What are we gonna do?
Now, I do predict that Simon's minutes are going to be closer to 30. 24 minutes right now. Who would slide in? I guess Bazemore. Bazemore, he didn't get a bump yet. 28 minutes still. So he's what?
Yeah.
Be closer to 32.
Yeah, I'm assuming they'll give some minutes to Bazemore. Simons will probably get a little bit of a minute bump.
Yeah.
Maybe Gary Trent.
Yeah, Gary Trent.
He could even get the start. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I mean, they could go Simons and Lillard in the backcourt, or they could go Lillard and Trent. So if Trent Jr. starts and gets 24 minutes at 3K, I mean, that makes him a really good play. So we'll have to wait and see. Thank God it's the first game, because that's big. We can see who's starting, see how the minutes disperse with McCollum being ruled out, and then we can obviously get news on Jimmy Butler. And then, yeah, we're still going to be pending, obviously the news in Minnesota. We got Towns as a game-time decision, Graham, Wiggins, all these guys, Teague, Vonleh. It's just, they're just a mess.
Yeah,
so.
The Minnesota, we haven't even touched base on them yet. I feel like Towns is always going to be a questionable status at this point. For the new guys that are just joining, if you guys want to ask any questions you have in the chat, feel free to do that. We'll get to them as soon as we can. We usually get a lot of questions, but you guys can take advantage of that since there's not that many people joining our live chat today because of the NFL games going on. So, but thank you for the supporters who are in here no matter what. We appreciate you.
Oh, Seahawks couldn't score. Oh, man, and they missed the field goal. Huh. Terrible. 35-yard field goal blocked.
What's up with the field goals, man? Because the Saints, that lost them the game.
It's terrible. Travis Hicks, Crowder, and Garland. Yeah, Garland's a great play at 4,600. We touched base on that. And then Crowder's actually a really good play on my sheet, Matt. He's a 5'6", 0.85 fantasy point per minute, 30 minutes in an uptick game. So I do like Crowder. I also like Melton too on Memphis. I like a lot of the guys in that Phoenix Memphis game. So they're definitely all
4 or
decent
5
plays. Jalord, do you like Braun or Davis? LeBron, if you're paying up, but I mean that game should be just an absolute slaughter. And I know, like I touched base a little bit ago, every time we think a game's gonna blow out, it never does. But the Lakers should handle Detroit easily, especially Detroit coming off back-to-back. If I am paying up for one, it's LeBron, but I think I'd rather go mid-tier, starting with Dame, Jimmy if he's playing, and then Booker if I can get all three.
I'm going to go ahead and start calculating these values for Portland. I know you've already done that, but I'm going to actually put them into the sheet here.
I just did
okay.
Dame just to see.
Minutes updated. Simons is 31 minutes, so I think that makes him almost an auto lock.
Did I see 24? Okay, maybe I didn't. I got to refresh.
Yep, 31 minutes for Simons. So Portland updated, so bear with us, guys. This is the good news we're waiting for. So I
would assume that means he's starting
all the minutes.
So, yeah. I mean, you can just shove Simons in your lineups now if he's going to actually get 31 minutes.
Yep. CJ's off, Hood is off, Scal is off, and so is...
I mean, he doesn't have a high fantasy point per minute, but I mean, 31 minutes.
3.5. There should be no reason he shouldn't be in your lineups.
See, Dame's getting 38. Son went up a minute. Melo went up a minute. Bays went up 4 minutes. Simons. Yeah, see, Gary Trent's now projected 28. I'd like to see that as well and see what Trent does at 3K. I think that makes him pretty viable if he actually sees 28 minutes. I don't know if he will, but...
Yeah, so Simons is a 6.1 is what it's showing, so still a pretty good value there. Even with this low fantasy point per minute output.
Matt, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My laptop died. I will be right back.
All right, sounds good. Everybody else can hear you, by the way.
Yep, guys,
He just froze. All right, so TJ will be right back. He'll go ahead and give us a call as soon as he's up and ready. So I'm a one-man show right now, but I'm calculating Portland's fantasy output right now based on McCollum being off the court. So you guys can see that right there. 1.33 fantasy points per minute for Damian Lillard playing at 38 minutes. We'll go ahead and update his value now. 50.54. And usually what I do, guys, with tighter rotations like this, it's more accurate to go the manual route and for me to update my custom projections, because if they're running on such a tight rotation, the 38 minutes are actually very predictable, and I like sticking to my custom output. So I do like a lot of these Portland players tonight, definitely. I liked them a lot more than Cleveland. So if you guys are just joining now, the Cleveland players were not viable just because they're in such a low-paced game, and they all just, I mean, you never know what players are going to step up, but with Portland, you do know that Lillard, Whiteside, Bazemore, and Simons are all going to show up. They are better players than the Cleveland players, so I do like these Portland Trailblazers a lot. So Bazemore averages 0.96 fantasy points per minute at 32 minutes. I like Bazemore a lot, actually. I like him a lot. Also, guys, feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I'll be sure to answer any of them. And I'm going to go ahead and run all of my lineups after this to see what kind of exposures I'm looking at. After I update all these values, I'll give you guys a better look at the slate entirely. Gary Trent at 28 minutes as well. Wow, these minutes got... It just shows you how much McCollum's involved in that offense now. Gary Trent, 28 minutes at 3K. Awesome. All right, so what this is going to do is it's actually going to open up a lot of value for builds that have LeBron James in them. So that's very intriguing. So I think the route that I'm going to take tonight is definitely going to be more of a stars and scrub type lineup, especially with all of this value left open in the Portland game. So just to give you an idea of what I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to run these projections. These aren't exactly going to be what I'm going to do, but this will give you a fairly good idea. And I'm going to take a moment, guys. Thank you for all the support you've been showing. For everybody that's new to the chat, please ask all your questions in the chat. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please show the support, and please hit that subscribe button. You will be first to be notified when we do go live for our streams. So Bazemore, Lillard, Garland still top the list here. Bazemore being one of the guys I like the most just because of his fantasy point. Hold on one second here. And TJ has decided to join us again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear it, but I can't see you. Now I can see you. No worries.
I forgot my laptop was a thing that needs to be charged.
No worries. I was just talking about how all the minutes went up a lot for Portland. Bazemore is at 32 now. He produces fairly well without McCollum on the court, which is notable. So Gary Trent's also getting 28 minutes and Simon's 31. So yeah. I mean, and they're all bottom of the barrel price tags. So I think you can agree with me on that. I think they're all in play for fairly good plays.
Yeah. Before I gotta make sure that my I really hope my Excel spreadsheet saved, because that would be. I'm just pulling that up right now, so bear with me for a split second.
So yeah, I'll go ahead and answer the question since I got away from that, guys. I do apologize. We were usually on top of that. Ayton over Jackson, probably. If I was picking between Jackson Jr. or Ayton, Ayton, definitely. Yeah, he's been balling. 6.9 is too cheap for him. He's going to probably... I would not be surprised if he makes it up to the 8K range by the close of the season. He's a good player. It's good to see him healthy, that's for sure.
Thank goodness for document saves on Excel. Thank you, Excel.
You reloaded everything?
Thank you for being an efficient program. Yeah.
All right, hero bounce back game. Well, do you know what? I will say I am all in on Hero if Butler is out, but as of right now, I'm not looking at his 25 minutes, 3.7 with Butler on the court. I'm not too intrigued by it. I'm more intrigued in this Portland team right now if I'm looking for value. But we do know that Hero, if he stays hot and he gets hot, they keep him in the game. So, always in play for a GPP play.
Matt, did you answer Travis Hicks when he asked, just curious, if you hit big, like 100K, what do you do? Because I love that question. I pay off my student loans like 1,000%. That's what I do.
If I did hit 10K or 100K.
100K.
Yeah, 100K. If I hit 10K, guess what? I'm paying off a fifth of my loans. So if I
win 10K, I'm paying like 3% of my loans off. So that's sweet.
Yeah, no, if I hit 100K, I'm doing the same thing. I'm paying off my loan, my credit card debt, and then everything else. I'm looking to buy a house. So yeah, I'm doing all that good stuff. Thoughts on Simons and Bazemore together? I'm not opposed to that at all. I think that's a good play. I think when you're talking bottom of the barrel guys in a game like that where somebody has to step up at the shooting guard position, even if they both, they can both easily hit value at bottom of the barrel prices like that, 3.7 and 3.5, absolutely. Yeah, the only time when I wouldn't stack like two players from the same team is if you're like going to stack Whiteside and Lillard like that, because one of those players might not do as well as the other because they're taking production away from them from each other at that price. That makes sense. If Blake is out again, they have to play. Can't pronounce his name. A lot of minutes. He has 38 points last night. Good question. Because do you know what? The one slate I didn't play was last night. So let me look. Because that's actually good to note.
Who are you talking? Oh, Doumbouya?
Doumbouya, is that how you pronounce it?
I think it's Doumbouya. I might be pronouncing it wrong. Yeah, he was great last night. He did play 38 minutes. Drummond was in foul trouble, so I think that kind of upticked his minutes a little bit. I wouldn't expect him to play 38 again. I think that's a little far-fetched.
He was in foul trouble, okay.
27 to 30 range.
Yeah, he played 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's got a really low – he only had a 14% usage rate last night. But he was definitely efficient and played really well. He just kind of got thrusted into the starting lineup. It's pretty wild over Christian Wood. But, yeah, at 5K, I feel like that's a little high. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking a shot in the dark with him for GPP.
38 minutes, though. I mean, that's more than, like, just being thrown into the lineup. I feel like...
Yeah, but that was Drummond was in foul trouble last night. But I'm saying, like, prior to that, the last game he played 27 minutes. He got the first start, and I mean, before that, he had like never played.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant.
And then there's always that blowout potential. So would he play in blowout minutes? My guess is he probably would.
I think if he's starting, maybe not, but like it's definitely a possibility because he hasn't played a lot this year. So he definitely could get run in a blowout. More often than not, the starters don't get that run, but a guy that just got thrusted into the starting lineup, he definitely could still play in a blowout. But that remains uncertain just because we haven't seen much of him so far this year, Diombo, or however you say his name.
We just got the question, Morant or Rubio and Cash. That's a great question because they're actually both good plays.
Tough.
That is tough. If I had to guess or if I had to pick one, I don't know. I'd probably take
Morant.
You would take Morant because I was about to say Rubio. They're both great plays. Probably Morant just because with Ayton back, I'm sure that eats into Rubio's production just a little bit. He probably won't have as great of a ceiling as say Morant would. Yeah, so like he's had 27 and 30 DK points the last two games. Ricky Rubio, so you only have to guess at this point that Ayton's going to eat into his offensive production. So I would probably go Morant.
Yeah, I think Booker's been more aggressive offensively, and I think that's also eating into Rubio's production as of late, especially these last couple games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Booker, ever since that Golden State game before the new year, Booker's been super aggressive. He's had 30 points in 5 straight games, so I would expect that to continue tonight, and he continues to try and find his shot, especially against a weak defending Memphis backcourt. So I think Ja Morant, but I don't think you can go wrong with either.
Yeah, no, definitely can't go wrong with either. I think I'm leaning towards Moran as well. Before we go any further, guys, we just got another spike in people joining. Thank you so much for taking your time away from the NFL games. Me and TJ are sacrificing our minutes as well. So I just want to say thanks for all the support, guys. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscription button. Please, please, please. We're trying to fill that bar, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. I'm trying to hit that 1,000-point goal. Really appreciate all the support, guys. Please hit that subscription button, and we will be first to notify you when we go live every single night before lock. Melton or Bazemore and Cash? Melton. Does Melton play for... I'm sorry,
Memphis.
He's always bouncing around. Does he play for Memphis?
Yeah,
now?
he's super productive off the bench, but Bazemore's
21
probably
minutes,
going
though.
to see 10 to 12 minutes more than him tonight. Melton's actually a 1.17 fantasy point per minute player. So in an uptick game, I really like him. I think Bazemore is a safer play for cash, but I think Melton's far more productive. Actually, to be honest with you, though, I didn't calculate. That's what I needed to do when my laptop finally loaded up fully. I need to update Portland on my sheet, especially Bazemore and Simons, just so I can see.
Yeah, I updated them as well. I just know that these guys are very intriguing at their minutes. If this goes over 107 for Portland, their over-under goes over 107, these guys are going to hit value for sure. I think these shooting guards have no problem at hitting it. I think where you're going to start getting into a little bit of trouble is like Carmelo, Anthony, Lillard, or Whiteside. I wouldn't start all those players if you're going to stack Portland. One of those guys are going to not do as well as the other two just because of their prices. That's the only thing. But again, like Whiteside is very good at 8.5. I was looking at his fantasy point output. He's like 1.36 without Scal on the court, and I'm assuming that CJ McCollum can only help that. So Whiteside is definitely one of my favorite pay up options, but then again, so is Lillard. So
Whiteside actually goes down a little bit.
Well, the thing with Whiteside is without you think. Well, here I have to look at it. Did you just take CJ off the court?
No, I took everybody off. Nurkic,
I see.
Collins.
So it looks like just Lillard takes over and shoots.
Nothing too crazy.
No, it's not that bad.
Backs for Whiteside with McCollum just putting up bricks.
Yeah, me and TJ got into a debate one time on how much I hate McCollum, how much he supports him.
No, I don't support him, but there was one night where he's a really good play and Matt refused to take him. So I
just hate it because I just feel like he always just shoots, and whenever he doesn't shoot well, it just screws us.
Shut up, he's nasty. Melo's actually a 114 fantasy point player with McCollum off, but that's a really small sample size, so I don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take CJ off and see what that does.
Wow, yeah, Bazemore's... See, the only thing that I don't like about this is the sample size. So Bazemore is actually an outstanding play. It says he's a 0.96 fantasy point minute per minute. He gets a 3.7% usage bump. He should see 32 minutes at 3,700. But the one thing is Melo in this sample size is only 23 minutes. So I feel like that will only affect Bazemore his efficiency. So it's tough.
I didn't even notice that this guy just said Whiteside against Miami for revenge. Yeah, if you're in the narratives, the one I don't like playing off the narratives. I just don't. That's never been my style.
I love narratives,
especially with somebody like Whiteside that's so unmotivated like him. It's like you never know.
Miami days he was, but he's a new man.
Yeah, he's playing fantastic in Portland. I'm glad he's getting this opportunity.
Yeah, wow, these minutes are...
Any thoughts on Caldwell Pope? I honestly haven't looked. If his minutes... I'm not even going to look right now. I'm not looking at the screen. If his minutes are below 30, I say no automatically.
He won't get 30. I don't think you need...
He's getting 25.
You don't need KCP tonight, especially with Dame being out. I mean, McCollum being out and potentially Jimmy Butler. I don't think you need KCP as a filler tonight. He might get a little run in a blowout, but I don't think it's necessary to play him, especially for cash. He won't carry any ownership at all. Yeah, 25 minutes, 3.6. You want to take a GPP stab if he gets some run in a blowout, sure, but he's not a very efficient player when he's on the court.
Sano's always coming in with the fire lines. I actually like that. By the way, Sano has had some fairly good success stories with us so far. So congratulations to Sano. Another good line. I like that. Take note, guys, if you're reading the chat. Definitely a good GPP play. And I will say this, if you're playing GPP, and especially in a night like tonight where everybody's going to be high owned, you gotta pick some really, really low owned guys tonight to fill up your last couple spots. And that's going to be very hard to choose. So if you're choosing very low owned guys, Cleveland might be an intriguing option for some low owned guys like Garland, like we were talking about him earlier before Portland news dropped. So there's still some guys on Cleveland I wouldn't mind taking a shot at, and Garland being that guy, as well as, I know TJ doesn't like him, but Henson's a good fantasy point output player. 22 minutes doesn't really scare me too much at 3.4. McKinney's another good one.
Yeah, I think now with the McCollum news, I mean, I think Dame is a really good play in cash, and then Simons, and I like Gary Trent too. So
yeah.
I don't necessarily think you need to go to any of those Cleveland guys now for cash. I mean, they're still viable.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about GBP because I know Sano's been playing GBP.
Gary Trent is someone that I keep staring at now over McKinney, because I had some exposure to McKinney for cash, but I'm definitely going to be changing that over to Gary Trent.
Yeah, we also mentioned, guys, for the people who are joining now, we mentioned Baines earlier. They had the Twin Tower starting lineup last game, and he got 42 points. So whether that hurts or helps him, I think the answer is it's been helping him, because if you look at his previous games, he hasn't hit that the 4.9 mark for hitting value, but 42 output was the only sample size we have of that. So Baines makes another great play if you're looking for some more value, some sneaky plays. Baines should carry low ownership tonight. Might go overlooked, especially in the high over under game.
Yeah, I really like Baines.
Yeah. RotoWire says it's time for Garland to shine. Okay. Okay. All I have to say that is who cares. But take it for what it's worth. That could drive up his ownership, if anything. I love their little narratives that they come up with. Garland's time to shine, and they're going against Minnesota.
Yeah, that's
If they actually said that, that's funny.
He is a good play, but it's tough to, with all these guards now. It's tough to. I don't think he has. Yeah, he just has guard eligibility, so it's tough with Simons, Lillard, Trent, Booker, Morant, whoever you want. It's tough to squeeze him in there now.
No, I totally think he's a good play. It's just funny if that was actually something that they wrote. Sign me up for a job at Roto.
No, thank you.
All right, so I will go back. We're still waiting for the Butler news. So if you guys are staying with us all the way through that, be a little bit more patient, because we should be getting that news here pretty soon. The game to start at 6. So as soon as that drops, we'll have a better idea. But with all that being said, if you guys look at my screen now, we do like Garland. I do like Baines. I do like Kent Bazemore. We like the Portland shooting guards now a lot. So these aren't my exact exposures. I'll be tinkering with those all the way up through lock. So don't take these for granted right now, because I'm not going to be having 91% exposure to Garland. I can guarantee you that right now. Simons or Melton cash? Probably Simons, because you'll probably have higher ownership now.
Yeah, I agree. Melton GPP, Simons cash is what I would advise.
Avery Bradley ? Let's look at Avery Bradley again. That's one of those players. If he's not playing over 30 minutes, I'm not even looking at him now. 24 minutes. He's just a low fantasy point output player. I mean, he only had one game in the past 10. So no, not for me. Of course, he did play 30 minutes, but again, one of those players that just doesn't do much.
I think he could be a good GPP play. Not a good GPP play, but a GPP option. I think, guys, if you're looking for value, especially for cash, I think it's just going to come from Portland, Miami, if Jimmy Butler is out, and then Cleveland. I don't think you have to look elsewhere for value unless you want to go to Memphis for someone like Crowder or something like that. But I think a lot of the exposure, especially for cash, is going to be fixated in Portland and Cleveland. So I think some of these guys
agree.
for like the Lakers, some of these cheap guys for like the Lakers, or Detroit even, the T-Wolves, if, Towns, Wiggins, what have you is out, I think they're good GPP options. But for cash, I think it's going to be Portland is going to carry a lot of ownership, and Cleveland.
Yeah, and if this Butler news drops, this is going to be a mess.
Yeah, it is, because it's already a mess right now.
I mean, if Butler doesn't play, I might put all my shares into Miami just because, CJ McCollum, no disrespect to him, but Butler's just a better player. He's more of a usage player. It should affect Miami even more so than how McCollum affects Portland. Plus, it's a higher over-under for them. So,
the only thing I don't want to do is I don't want to get away from that Phoenix-Memphis.
I agree.
I think that's
a
really good game to get a lot of value from. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a couple players I don't think you can really get away with fading tonight. I think one of those players, Ayton. I think Ayton's good. He's actually projected the highest owned player on the slate right now at 41% in tournament. I don't know if that's that accurate, but I do know that if this is the highest over-unders and highest paced game on the slate, I think Ayton being the most underpriced player in that game, he's going to be high end for sure. So if I had to start somewhere, I'd probably start with him. If you're going cash, if you're talking cash. Which makes, if you think about it too, it makes these other players a lot more intriguing. People like Rubio for GPP, Booker for GPP, Baines for GPP, just because the ownership's not going to be there as much as it is on Ayton. Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones at 18 minutes. He's one of those players that always has good fantasy point production. But 18 minutes, I don't know. I think his ceiling is a lot smaller than a lot of these other players with high minutes. So, yeah, he could be a very, very sneaky play with virtually no ownership, but I probably wouldn't advise starting him. If he's like your only low-owned player, maybe. Again, I pick minutes over anything. That's going to show you how high your ceiling is going to be. If you get hot and you're playing 30 minutes, even though you're not a good fantasy point per minute player, you could still easily get to 30 fantasy points, even if you're at the bottom of the barrel for a price tag. Like with a player like Tyus Jones, it's probably not going to happen tonight. I know it's a high over under, but Tyus Jones, 18 minutes. He'd have to get hot real quick to make that happen. Why did you say you shouldn't stack players in the same price range from the same team? All right, well, I didn't say those exact words. So what I recommended against, though, is stacking of players like Damian Lillard, Whiteside, and Anthony together. The reason is because those players are so high priced that if Damian Lillard, let's say he gets to 60 fantasy points tonight, which is very realistic, that means Whiteside's probably not going to do that. But Lillard at 60 points, and you look at somebody from Phoenix like Booker could get 60 points. But, Booker and Whiteside are within the same price range. So that's what I mean. If you're going to play players that are really high priced, don't play from the same team. If you're playing people like in the 3K range, you can get away with that. But not players that are really expensive from the same team. That's what I mean. Would you go Dame and Whiteside in cash? Now in cash, that's fine. That's because you know those guys are gonna have high ownership, and you're not going for the highest point. You're not going for the most points you can possibly get on the slate. If you're playing cash, you're going for ownership at that point. What do you think of playing Bam?
I like Bam.
Bam 7-6 is always a good play, especially against Whiteside. Bam's an auto lock for me if Butler doesn't play. I'll tell you that. But he's a good price tag. I don't mind Bam tonight.
I want to see an ownership up update with
Yeah. Again, guys, sit tight because we're still awaiting this Jimmy Butler news. This is frustrating. It's starting to get close now. Almost 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
Fire away your questions, guys. If you haven't already, if you guys are new to the chat, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification bell. I'm sorry for the guys who have heard this 5 times so far. Just thanks for all the support. Seriously, we really do appreciate it. Be sure to hit that subscription button, guys. Show the support. Answer any questions that you might have. Go ahead and ask your questions in the chat, and we'll be sure to answer them. Lillard and Booker or LeBron and Booker. Okay, they're not the same price range, but I will say that we really like Lillard tonight. So if you want to go Lillard and Booker, I'd have to see both your builds to answer that question fully.
I have a lineup actually that I'm staring at right now that has all 3 of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that much value on the slate.
But it's
if Minnesota has everybody out, what about Napier? Napier's been a really good play lately. Napier at 6.3 though. 6.3. Yeah, I mean,
I
if
could
everybody's
definitely
out,
see you jumping on him if you want, but I don't think he's a necessity, even if all those guys are out tonight. 6.3 is a pretty big price tag for him, even though he's been playing really, really, really well. But if they're all out, I mean, I can definitely get behind that.
let's go ahead and take Jimmy Butler off right now. I'm gonna go ahead and just run a few numbers to see what that's looking like. Jimmy Butler and Winslow. Let's go ahead and take Winslow
He's
off.
gonna play.
You think he's gonna play? I mean, that was a random questionable tag.
I know.
I hope he does make things easier, but
I hope he doesn't. I love chaos.
all right. So without Jimmy Butler and Winslow,
I think Jones Jr. I think he might start if Butler's off, to be honest. So I think he would be an unbelievable play if Jimmy's out. Kevin Porter from Cleveland. Yeah, we touched base a little bit earlier on Cleveland, Gil. We like Garland and we like Sexton potentially. We think Garland's going to carry the most. Garland and Sexton will probably carry the most ownership. Porter would probably be our 3rd option from Cleveland. But yeah, that's kind of just where we've landed right now.
is it okay to play Booker, Oubre, Baines, and Ayton in the GPP?
I like it. GPP, yeah.
Well, the over under being at 120. If they do cover that and then some, yes, they are fairly underpriced. All those players, which we had touched base on. So yeah, I mean, you'd have to have that game go really high for that to make sense. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. It could pay off. Go ahead and fire your questions away in the chat, guys. We are still awaiting this Butler news.
Bobby Six, we touched base on Dumboya a little bit earlier. We're not too sure what would happen in the event of a blowout. With him, we know he logged a bunch of minutes last night, but Drummond was in foul trouble. So I feel like that upticked his minutes a little bit. He's only been in the rotation for these last 2 games that he drew starts with injuries to Blake. So it's tough to kind of say if he is going to – it's tough to say what kind of run he'll get in the event of a blowout if the Lakers do, in fact, blow out Detroit. Detroit on a back-to-back. So, and obviously it's a very tough matchup for them going up against the Lakers in LA. So it's tough to say with Dumboya what kind of run he'll get, especially if, Detroit's down 25-30 in the second half. So I don't think he's necessarily a cash play, but a GPP play, sure. I mean, because he could definitely see some run in that 4th quarter, even if Detroit is getting smoked.
Sorry, I'm trying to look at see if Jimmy Butler, if I can find like any news anywhere else other than Fantasy Labs. It's just not happening. Just not happen. I will say this: if Jimmy Butler doesn't play, if for some reason that we don't get this news in like the next,
Tristan Thompson listed out.
great. Here we go.
So,
All right. Well, let's do this.
So
let's do this.
that probably means
Henson's a must.
sample size is going to be small. Hanson brothers. No, I would think that either John Henson, I would assume he starts. I don't think they'd put McKinney at the 5. I don't think he's big enough. So I think John Henson now starts and probably gets 30 minutes at 3-4. I'd be interesting to see what kind of minutes they give to Ante Zizic. I'm assuming he would play the backup role behind Henson. I don't necessarily think John Henson is a guy that can give you 30 minutes. So I'd be interested to see what they do right now and how they disperse TT's 32 minutes if they give Henson 10 and Zizic the backup role, or if they kind of go more of a split. But I think at 3-4 now, Henson, if he does get 30-ish minutes, then he's a lock. That stinks. Oh, Blake Griffin out. Nice. We didn't know that.
Yeah, so as you guys see, I'm computing the values right now. This is what it's looking like for Cleveland. I took all the big. Or I took Caleb and Tristan Thompson off the. I left Larry Nance on just because he's not that much of a usage player, and it gives me a bigger sample size. John Henson is obviously probably one of your best bets tonight if he does get those minutes that we're expecting. 1.15 fantasy points per minute and 193 minutes, so that's actually not bad of a sample size. As much as you hate to hear that, TJ.
Butler's out. Oh my God.
Is he? Here we go.
Yeah.
Buckle up, guys. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. We got this. We got this. TJ's stressing out. I can see it up in the corner. But
like
everybody else stay calm.
Why is this happening?
All right. Let's go ahead and do. I'm gonna wait for minutes to update. TJ, you want to do one team? I'll do the other. Teamwork.
As in, yeah, I'm gonna do Miami right now.
Okay.
With I wonder if they start Hero or if they start. Oh, here we go. No, it's Jones Jr. starting. So, yeah, I really like Jones Jr. now. So
there we go.
DJJ, he's a lock as well, I would assume. So. Henson and Derek Jones just snuck their way into the lineups.
So they didn't update the minutes, but they took Tristan Thompson off the court for Cleveland.
Yeah. Man,
that's right. Buckle up. Buckle up. But you know what, guys? Me personally, I love slates like this because not enough people are too heavy on teams that have very tight rotations. That's where the advantage is. Some people are still going to teams like the Lakers and playing people like Caldwell Pope when they shouldn't be. So
that was rude. What did Caldwell Pope ever do to you?
Nothing. That's the problem. He never does anything for me.
All right, let's see. This also might make Bam a really good play. So. Dragic probably, man. Yeah, this is gonna be wild.
Again, I'm just refreshing the
Hero's
page
price
here.
Tag at 3,700.
Yeah.
Derek Jones.
Heroes. I know Hero gets a good boost too with Jimmy Butler off.
Olynyk might see some more minutes. Probably not because he's terrible. He doesn't really have much effect with Butler being out. All right, let's see.
For you guys asking any questions about Miami or Cleveland right now, we can't answer those quite yet until I hear those minutes. So just hang tight. Hang tight.
I'll tell you one thing. Derek Jones Jr. is a great play. So
yeah, he probably will be.
You're welcome for that information, you guys.
Thank you.
Not that that's evident. In case any of you were struggling to figure that out. All right, let's see. So
I will also take this time to advertise our stream one more time, guys. If you haven't already, please hit that subscription button. Please hit the subscribe button every time before the slate we go live, and we talk the same way we are now. So be sure to get the update very, very first. That didn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Hit the notification bar. Make sure you get that live stream notification whenever we go live. Cleveland still hasn't updated minutes, guys. This is annoying. I also saw a question earlier. Osman didn't get any boost without all these guys in the court. Osman is probably one of the most frustrating plays ever. If he's not in the 3K range, I don't even look at him. So Osman's one of those players who just does nothing on the court. So he hasn't been affected whatsoever with his with the injuries.
Yeah, all these Heat guys are good plays.
Yeah, so what's it looking like over there on the Miami stratosphere?
Well, if Tyler Hero gets a little bit of a bump, he would most likely be a lock. Derek Jones, where are you, baby? 0.64 fantasy point per minute, so not as good as I would have thought in 174 minute sample size.
It looks like they updated the minutes here. I think. No. They updated Derek Jones like nobody else. It's weird.
Would they update him too?
24 minutes? Was he at that before?
Yeah, that was already 24.
Oh, okay. That was lower. Yeah, I think Zizic will get minutes tonight because if you think about it, Henson and Zizic are really the only true centers on that team right now. So I think he will get minutes. I don't know if they're going to be decent enough. Like, if he's getting over 20, I think he's a viable option.
Yeah, I would assume Zizic gets the backup minutes to Henson. And like I touched base a little bit ago, I don't think Henson's really a 30-minute guy.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I would assume Zizic at least gets 20. That would be my thought. But
yeah, you got to think too. When Henson played in Milwaukee, sure they had they had such a tall team, so they weren't really in need for Henson. But he was only playing like 25, 28 minutes a game, and that's when he started. So, I mean, if that's him at his full potential, you're looking at the same kind of picture here in Cleveland. But with that being said, Henson's still a great play tonight. What's the score in the Seahawks game, by the way? I pulled up. 3-0. Who?
Seahawks 3rd and 14 from the Philly 47.
I had a bet with somebody at work. They're all Eagles fans, and
pretty sure the Eagles have like 30 yards of total offense, so this game should be 3-0, but it is.
Yeah. So many Eagles fans around me.
McCollum out, yes. McCollum out, yes. Thank you, man.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You want me to go ahead?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about Portland. I still like the shooting guards, but obviously more has opened up with Miami. I think I'm going to lean more towards these Miami guys if I'm going to be playing anywhere heavy, especially with all this value. Yeah, I know Henson will probably start, yes, but but his minutes will look closer to 28, probably about 28 minutes. We're only predicting right now. We're still awaiting for these minutes to update, guys. We're not just sitting here looking confused. We're just awaiting these minutes, and then we will calculate everything for you guys here live in person. Wow, they are still not updating these minutes.
They might not.
Why not?
Whose minutes?
Either one, Miami or Cleveland.
Yeah, they might not before. Yeah, see, Gary Trent is starting. It's not Simons. I knew it. Yeah, so okay. I like Gary Trent tonight. Yeah, if he's going to start, then I think that makes him a great play at 3K. It's tough to fit him in, though.
Yep. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this for the time being. I'm going to go ahead and update these minutes the way I think they're going to come out to. I'm going to put Henson at 28 minutes, see what this does. And then we'll adjust it if we don't hear anything. Zizic is going to get closer to 22. .96 fantasy points per minute. Hero's going to be playing what? What do you say, TJ? 30?
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Okay.
That's why I really like Tyler Hero.
Yeah,
I like him.
I love him.
I like Tyler Hero more than I like Derek Jones, actually. But it's tough because all right, they're gonna update the minutes now because they just added a bunch of guys from Miami. So it's tough because a lot of these guys are only have one position eligible. Like Lillard's a point guard, Hero's a shooting guard, Henson's just a center. So you have to put Henson, and if you want 8 and 2, that takes up your center and your util spot. So it's definitely tough sledding tonight, trying to figure out.
Yep, they updated the minutes. Here we go. 32 for Hero.
Yeah, that makes Hero a lock.
Yep. Duncan Robinson is in play as well.
Chris, I agree with you on Simons coming off the bench. I actually liked him. I like him more coming off the bench opposed to starting. Did they really update minutes?
Yep.
Why won't mine?
I can give them to you if you need them.
No, it's okay. I kind of already know the direction in which I'm going tonight, so man, Draj is just staring at me in the face.
Like, what's None looking like now? None is 0.92.
They're all really good plays on our sheet. So Heroes an 8-4. So I think that's kind of crazy. Draj is a 6-5 on our sheet. Bam is a 5.95, so basically a 6, and None is a 6-6. So, I mean, all these Miami Heat guys are now viable, which is pretty evident with their highest usage guy being ruled out. So,
Zizic is another good play, guys. Hold all your questions. We're gonna calculate these values. I will show you what my lineups are gonna look like and where we're gonna lean towards in just a moment. We'll give you the edge in just a moment. This is why you stay till the very end. Just a moment. So, Bam, what does he look like on the sheet? Because he's 1.27 now.
Miller, Trent Jr., Bazemore, Anthony, Whiteside. Okay. So Simon's up the bench. Those 6 guys will probably all see 30 minutes. So,
all right, let's look at this now. So Henson's at 25 minutes. So we overestimated him just a tad.
Zizic 24.
Zizic is 24. Okay, so I actually underestimated him just a little bit.
Yeah, I figured they're just gonna split minutes.
It. Yeah. All right, so let's look at this again.
I mean, take your pick. That's tough to try and figure out between Henson and Zizic which one you'd rather play. If Towns is in, I actually think I'd rather have Zizic come in off the bench, especially at 3K if he's going to get 24 minutes. But I mean, either one, it's a crapshoot between Henson and Zizic. Neither are very good players, so it's tough to try and decipher between which one you want. There's a ton. This slate is awful. There's so much value. There's so many different routes you can go. I feel like the ownership's gonna kind of be everywhere. Especially you got McCollum out, you got Butler out. You have Cleveland decimated. You have Minnesota potentially decimated. Memphis and Phoenix doesn't really have a lot of injury news, but that's the highest over under. And then you have that potentially huge blowout game in LA and Detroit. So yeah,
all right. So I have a little bit of a direction. I'm sure you agree with this. This just opened up a lot for Miami. If I'm going to go shooting guard position, I'm going to go Tyler Hero. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go Kendrick Nunn, or obviously Dragic if I had to pick a shooting guard. Starting with Hero. I think Hero's your automatic lock tonight, guys. If I had to go anywhere else for value for shooting guard position, I'd go somebody like Bazemore. And I'd go Gary Trent. Sorry, I lost track of his name. I'd go Gary Trent or I'd go Bazemore. Simon's probably GPP. That's what I would do. And that's a shooting guard position. I think this, with all this value on the slate, this opens up to LeBron James being one of the more chalkier pay up options on the slate. So if you're playing cash games, I think LeBron is almost a must just because of all this value. Bam is a great option as well, because obviously that opens up a lot of usage for Bam. We know he can score. If you're looking for another center option, I would go down to Henson or Zizic. I'd lean more towards Henson just because the starting minutes are guaranteed. I'd probably go Zizic for GPP. Aaron Baines is another very sneaky play for GPP still. I wouldn't go totally away from the Suns. If I'm paying up again, I'd still try to get to Ayton. If you have to. But that is the general direction I'm going, and I probably wouldn't go anywhere else. Like I'm just being honest, I probably would not look anywhere else. Like I'm probably off these Memphis guys, with the exception of Morant. I'm probably off of the Lakers other than LeBron and AD for pay-up options. I'm definitely off the Timberwolves, so like Napier's completely out of the question, even if all these guys are out. Unless you're going GPP. That is what I'm doing for this slate. So these exposures are not going to look like this. I'm going to change these just a little bit. I'm only going to give this about 3 more minutes, guys, to go ahead and fire away your questions. TJ, do you have any more to say to that?
No, I feel like you pretty much covered most of my general thoughts. It's tough sledding. Conducting a lineup tonight, especially because most of the guys that you're looking for tonight are only have one position eligibility. So it kind of throws a wrench in a lot of different options that you can go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough, but I'm actually gonna get off so I can go post the lineup for our members, and yeah.
All right. So with all that being said, guys, thanks for showing up. Fire away your last minute questions. TJ's going to go ahead and get off. Thanks, TJ, for hanging in there. I know this was frustrating for both of us, but we got it done.
Man, this is a 4-game slate.
Yep.
All right, guys. Good luck tonight.
See ya. All right, guys, go ahead and fire away your last minute questions. Like I said, we are going the Heat for shooting guard position. We are going Cleveland for big play, like the big men. We like Henson and we like Zizic. Obviously, both those guys, if you're going for value for that position. We love Bam if you're paying up. I even like Bam more than Ayton now. I do. With Butler being out the highest usage player on the slate, I think that opens up so much for Miami. Duncan Robinson or Bazemore? I'm going Bazemore tonight. Bazemore is projected a little bit more minutes than him. Yeah, and I think Hero Dragic, and who's the other guy I'm talking about here? None is all those guys are great plays. Almost all these guys are great plays for Miami. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. That is I'm going to go ahead and put this up real quick. I was going to go build my GPP lineups real quick, but I'll let you guys take one last look. These aren't the exposures I'm going to be taking exactly, but this shows you where I'm probably going to end up going tonight. Tyler Hero, Bazemore is a great play. LeBron's going to be in almost every one of these lineups just for cash and GPP, just the way the slate pivoted. Damian Lillard's another great play. Bam, Henson, none. Bane's very sneaky tonight. Very sneaky. None or Garland? None as of right now. LeBron is almost a must-have just because of the way the builds play out. He's the only real pay-up option. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please hit it. We love all the support, guys. Thanks for tuning in.